All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Treachery. Hello, family. We are back together again, donning our spiritual armor, our mental elevation and elaboration, our spiritual eye development, our spiritual ear sharpening, and once again we are back together convening and converging in an examination of the carnal existence through our spiritual lenses. And so, family, tonight we are just providing an update to one of the presentations made here in regards to pregnant men, the transgender identity travesty. And so, family, there was an update as it pertained to the individual who is labeled by current societal terms as a transgendered male, which really means a female who is posing as a man. And this particular individual went so far as to have their breasts removed and took a hormone treatment program, and now is quite masculine looking, donning a full mustache and beard and living as a male. Well, this individual, who goes by the name of Freddie McConnell, had a pending case in the United Kingdom's judicial system, in which he was fighting to be registered or labeled as the father of his recently born male child. And so we shall go through the update of this article, and the reference link will be provided to you in the description box for a later review. And don't forget, family, to share these videos out, give a like, give a subscribe, and also leave commentary for future channel material. And we shall begin as we continue to fight in our righteous seeking of soul salvation against this trans travesty, these sodomite crusades, and these hellions of homosexuality. And so we shall begin under the protections of the Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit channel standards of Malachi 3 and 6, also Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8 of the Holy History. And so the title of tonight's article is Transgender Man Who Gave Birth to Boy Loses Legal Fight to be Recognized as Father. A transgender man, which is a female posing as a man, who does not want to be described as the mother of his baby on a birth certificate, has lost his legal fight to be recognized as the father. So, family, the court has ruled in its common sense legal ideology that even though you are posing as a man, young lady, and even though you want to be called the child's father, you are a woman who gave birth by natural means to a child, so you will be his mother. Freddie McConnell, a multimedia journalist who works for The Guardian, wanted to be registered as father or parent of his child. A judge on Wednesday ruled against him after analyzing argument at a high court in London. There is a material difference between a person's gender and their status as a parent, said Sir Andrew McFarlane, president of the Family Division of the High Court, in a ruling. Being a mother, whilst hitherto always associated with being female, is the status afforded to a person who undergoes the physical and biological process of carrying a pregnancy and giving a birth. It is now medically and legally possible for an individual whose gender is recognized in law as male to become pregnant and give birth to their child. Whilst that person's gender is male, in quotes, their parental status, which derives from their biological role in giving birth, is that of mother. A lawyer who represented McConnell said an appeal is being considered. As a firm that champions equality, we are of course disappointed at the judgment, and it highlights how the law is slow to keep up with modern society, said Karen Holden, founder of a city law firm. All right, family. So the law firm of the young lady who wants to be referred to as a man, Freddie McConnell, who gave birth to a little baby boy, but wanted it to list the birth certificate as her father, when in reality, she's the mother. Her legal firm is accusing society of not catching up, or is accusing the court of not catching up with the demands of society. And so I am going to express my personal opinion of the decision. I agree with the court. You gave birth to this child. You are the child's mother, irrespective of what the societal, quote, laws may deem under, quote, societal pressures by various demographics of people. We continue. Freddie is legally a man, and his legal papers display the same. In the UK, he has the right to change his gender on his own birth certificate. So why not his child's? And so, family, let's keep in mind, we have to be mindful of this language. When they speak of Freddie and they say his and he and him, the reality is this is a young lady, and we must not be contaminated with the delusion or the deception of these pronouns. This is a her. So, just as a exercise in folly, let's switch up that language in the sentence. Freddie is really a woman, and her legal papers say the same, or her legal papers say the opposite. In the UK, she has the right to change her gender on her birth certificate, and asking why not her child's. Well, the child has yet to be contaminated with these satanic sentiments to even give a consideration of trying to live in an opposite lifestyle and alternative existence than the one's basic creation. But I digress. Surely, if you're going to move with modern times, the law has to finish the journey it has started. Equality shouldn't have to come at a price, but this case has taken 3 years, hours of work and manpower, public attention, and yet the court still failed to help this family set out its actual family structure correctly in terms of its legal status. Or another way to say it, or an alternative opinion, would be the court agreed with the definition of a traditional family as it pertains to the role of a male contribution of sperm, a female contribution of egg, and then at the end of the gestation period, the woman brings forth an actual being. Traditional human being creation on earth. A birth certificate will stay with a child for life, and it will be factually and legally inaccurate under current terms. Freddie is considering whether she wishes to appeal, and we have no instructions on that at present. We hope, though, that others will pick up the chalice as well and look to bring UK law in line with other more progressive countries. And so when they say others, they're reaching out to a very distinct, very, very minuscule population or demographic that they want to give all of this propaganda press to promulgate this wicked proclivity within society and our children. Forgive me, I digress again. Mr. McConnell, or the young lady, age 32, who had a child using a sperm donor, claims in the documentary Seahorse, the dad who gave birth, that pregnancy would be taken more seriously if more men gave birth. In the film, which portrays his fatherhood journey over 3 years, he says if all men got pregnant, then pregnancy will be taken so much more seriously and talked about. He adds the curse words, F, and it's effing awful. If men had to go through all this all the time, you would never hear the end of it. Lawyers said the child will be the first person born in England and Wales not to legally have a mother if Mr. McConnell won her case. A very interesting family. So there must be a registered mother or father on the birth certificate for that person to be deemed an actual person. Interesting. Sir Andrew heard how Mr. McConnell is a single parent who was born a woman but now lives as a man after surgery. Mr. McConnell was biologically able to get pregnant and give birth, but had legally become a man when the child was born. A registrar told him that the law required people who give birth to be registered as mothers. Mr. McConnell, or the young lady, took legal action against the General Register Office, which administers the registration of births and deaths in England and Wales, after complaining of discrimination. He said forcing him to register as the child's mother breached his human right to respect the privacy, breached his human right to respect for privacy and family life. And so family right there, I'm going to reread that sentence and then I'm going to evaluate this in terms of a mental defect. Now, this is a young woman, born a woman, who just had a baby biologically, but is living as a man. He said that the legal offices of the state are forcing him to register as the child's mother, which breaches his human right to respect for privacy and family life. I call into question that this woman would refer to herself as a he, would be offended at being called the mother of the child she gave biological birth to, and think just because the majority of society holds the linear mental capacity to understand that basic biology, she feels disrespected and her privacy and family life are invaded. I submit to this being a mental defect or condition. Sir Andrew heard arguments from lawyers representing Mr. McConnell, the child, the head of the General Register Office, Department of Health and Social Care ministers, and Home Office ministers. So the judge had a full range of perspectives and input for his determination. Barrister Hannah Markham, QC, who led Mr. McConnell's legal team, told the judge that it was in the child's interest for Mr. McConnell to be registered as father or parent. She said many children are growing up in rainbow families, and said a child had a right to have a parent's gender appropriately identified on their birth certificate. And therein lies the confusion or duality of the deception. Yes, children have the right to have their parents' gender appropriately identified. A man is the father and a woman is the mother on their birth certificates. So I'm not sure if she said that sentence very quickly without thought, trying to incorporate a rainbow family, and I guess that's a family of transgendered or sodomite parents, but the appropriate labeling would be the identification of man as father, husband, and woman as mother, wife. And family, that was the conclusion of that article or update to the trans identity gender travesty, where we are seeing the zeal of this wicked push as we are fighting back this tide and tsunami and this tirade of truancy against the human and the spiritual salvation, especially of the holy children scattered abroad into all nations. We shall continue our fight. We shall continue to keep our eyes open and be witnesses against these demons who bring forth these activities and ideologies, and who are breaking down the morals and the virtues and the integrities of us who are seeking that truth and seeking that light in repair of our own sin and transgression against the holy power. We shall laugh at the folly of this trans travesty. We will not surrender to the sodomite crusades and sensibilities. We will continue to kick the dirt of shame in the faces of these beings of this horrible desecration of human morality. And so, family, to the scattered 12 tribes, wherever you may sojourn on earth, as well as my brothers and sisters of the world, we will keep our light shining. We will guard against the blinding and blistering blizzards that seek to extinguish that glow of righteousness. And so we shall continue, we shall endeavor to pursue that righteousness into eternity. And until we are together again, fam, I love you, I love you, I love you. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit.